Mic check for the YouTube stream. Mic check for the YouTube stream.
Okay. Good morning. I believe we're all ready to start. My name is Anne McCauley. I am the chair of the Scarborough Panel Committee of Adjustment. I am joined with my fellow panel members, Mr. Saeed, Mr. Hahn, Mr. Stinson, and Mr. Reed. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from provisions of the zoning bylaw that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful nonconforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We have a land acknowledgement. Our land acknowledgement is we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississauga and Chippewa bands. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid, in-person, and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person. Others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearings may watch on YouTube. Those who wish to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. Those participating by video conference will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when their item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5 minutes allocated speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both the in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadlines. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panel controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to follow this instruction. Receiving a copy of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Board will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or in some circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision. The hearing procedure. I will call each item as listed in order on the agenda. When you're making your submissions where an application is uncontested, the applicant or agent may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are advised to share should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you're reaching the 5 minutes. As you can see, the timer is on the clock there. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must be emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name, address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant and agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we will first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they've finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues raised by the speakers. This will be the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Okay. We have a morning session and an afternoon session. In the morning session, before considering the first item, I need confirmation of the minutes of our last meeting. Do I have a motion? Thank you. Member Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I put forward motion for approval of minutes of our last meeting.
Do I have a seconder?
Chair, I second it.
Thank you. Moved by Member Said, seconded by Member Sensen, that the minutes of our last meeting are adopted. Okay. Ask members if there are any excused member absences from this hearing. Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this point, I put forward the motion that Scarborough panel of the Committee of Adjustment does not excuse any member absence from the January 17 Committee of Adjustment hearing.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Chair, I second that motion.
Okay, moved by Mr. Said, seconded by Mr. Stinson. All those in favor? I too am in favor.
Through the chair, for the record, Member Reid did not vote because of technical issues.
All right, the matter has been dealt with and confirmed with one abstention. Okay. Are there any declarations of interest of the panel or staff? Seeing none. Okay. Deferral request. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral?
Through the chair, item 4756 Warden Avenue has requested a deferral sine die. It's at the request of the applicant in order to allow an opportunity to obtain a revised zoning review so they can correctly identify all requested variances.
Thank you. Is the applicant available to speak to the deferral?
Katrina Munchaw from Arcadis Group on behalf of 756 Warden Avenue.
Yes, sir. You're the applicant?
I am the applicant's agent, and we are looking to defer for a later date as we work with staff through a zoning review.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion for deferral?
Through the chair, you should be asking if there are any members in the audience.
Thank you. Sorry. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to a deferral of item 4, 756 Warden Avenue? Seeing none, let me just check. Do we have any item, No, we have no speakers on our YouTube. Okay. So, dealing with the deferral, Mr. Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I put forward motion for deferral of item 4. And this is to allow an opportunity to the applicant to obtain the revised zoning review to correctly identify all requested variances, and this deferral is sine die.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Second. I have a seconder, Mr. Said. Mr. Said is a mover and Mr. Khan is seconded. All those in favor to the deferral?
Through the chair, sorry, we need to hear Mr. Khan verbally say he seconds it.
I will second the motion.
Thank you. Do I have to say it again? All right. Moved by Mr. Said, seconded by Mr. Khan, that item number 4, 756 Warden Avenue be deferred sine die. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Are there any other deferrals?
Through the chair, item 11, 59 Regency Square. This is a deferral sine die at the request of the applicant in order to address concerns identified by the neighbors.
Okay. Is the applicant on the line to speak to the deferral?
Through the chair, no. Mohammed is not signed in.
So the applicant is not online to speak to the deferral. We have received a deferral request in writing, though.
Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay, so we can deal with the deferral request in writing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to the deferral only of 59 Regency Square? We'll not be, just a second, we will not be debating the issue at this time. We'll only be speaking to the deferral. So those who wish to speak to the deferral, would you please come down to the podium? As this gentleman comes to the podium, if you want to speak to the deferral, I will ask your name and your address, and then only ask you whether you agree or disagree with the deferral.
My name's Jerry Condon. I live at 15 Regency Square, and I oppose the referral. Deferral.
I'm sorry.
I oppose it. I oppose the deferral.
You oppose the deferral. Thank
Yeah, we're
you.
here now, ready to go. He's not even
No,
online.
that's all we hear at the moment. You oppose the deferral.
I do.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in support or in opposition to the deferral for 59 Regency Square? To make it easier, if you would all come down who want to speak in support or in opposition to the deferral only. Okay, good morning, madam.
Good morning.
May I have your name and address?
My name is Lynn Fode. I live at 33 Regency Square.
Okay, and are you do you agree with the deferral or in opposition?
I oppose.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person, please.
My name is Dave Foster. I live at 75 Regency Square, and I oppose the deferral.
Okay, thank you. Next, please.
My name is Susan Briggs. I live at 66 Regency Square, and I oppose this deferral.
Thank you.
I'm Jackie Lewis. I live at 48 Regency Square, and I oppose to the deferral.
Thank you.
My name is Don Briggs. I live at 66 Regency Square, and I oppose the deferral.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cam Lung. I live at 71 Regency Square, and I oppose the deferral.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jyoti Janardhan. I live at 71 Regency Square, and I oppose the deferral.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Donna Easton. I live at 76 Regency Square, and I oppose the deferral.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Susan Avery. I live at 32 Regency Square. I also oppose the deferral.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Debbie Cho, and I'm from 25 Regent Square, and I oppose for this referral.
Thank you.
Josephine Rogers, 72 Regency, and I oppose the.
Thank you.
Mike Henley, 54 Regency, and I oppose.
Thank you.
Donna Tuttle. I live at 88 Regency Square, and I oppose this deferral.
Thank you.
Philip Rogers, 72 Regency Square, and I oppose the deferral.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in support or in opposition to the deferral of 79 Regency Square? We have got everyone. Is there anyone online?
Through the chair, while we pull up the person online, staff have advised that not everyone who spoke at the podium registered. So if they could please connect with a member of staff who is waving right now to make sure their form is filled in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Harold, you have been unmuted.
Good morning, Carl. Can you give us your name and your address and whether you are in support of the deferral or in opposition to the deferral?
Harold, you have been unmuted.
Have we lost Carl, or is he still trying to connect?
Yeah. We'll go to the next person, and then we'll have someone reach out to Harold.
Thank you. The next person is?
Anthony, you have been unmuted.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Cornacchia. I oppose the deferral. I would like to mention that...
Just a second, sir. Before you proceed,
Yes.
I've got your name, I need your address, and then only whether you oppose or are in support. So,
my name is Anthony Cornacchia. I live at 58 Regency Square. I oppose the deferral.
okay, thank you very much. Next speaker.
Mary and Jim, you have been unmuted.
Hi, I'm Mary Lafazanis, and also Jim Aspiotis at 65 Regency Square, and we oppose the deferral.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker.
Shannon, you have been unmuted.
Hi, this is Shannon McGivern and John McGivern at 51 Regency Square, and we oppose the deferral.
Thank you.
Giselle, you have been unmuted.
Good morning. My name is Giselle McDermott. I live at 70 Regency Square, and I oppose the deferral.
Thank you. Do we have any more speakers?
Tammy Niku is not online, but she was registered to be a virtual participant. Harold, give me 1 second while I see what the status is on Harold.
Yes.
Hello?
Well, I don't know what else I can do.
If you have more than one device, disconnect from one of your devices and just keep one on.
Yes, my name is Gerald Lee. I'm at 61 Regency Square, and I oppose.
Thank you. We are speaking to the deferral, so when you say I oppose, it's I oppose the deferral. That's the only item before us at the moment.
Yes, I oppose the deferral.
Thank you, sir.
Stuart, you have been unmuted.
Thank you. Stuart Bowden, 42 Regency Square. I oppose the deferral.
Thank you, sir.
Allison Murray is also not online. Other than that, all the speakers have been addressed.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have heard from all those in the audience and all those online who are either in support or in opposition to the deferral. I now take this matter into committee. There'll be no further discussion from the audience. Committee members, do I have a motion for deferral? Mr. Reid.
Thank you, Chair. I acknowledge that a lot of people have come out to speak to this application and want it heard today, but thank you. I do think it's reasonable to grant a deferral to allow the applicant some time to communicate with the neighbors and with the city staff to improve the application. So I support a deferral, and I move a motion for deferral of the application.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reid. Do I have a seconder?
Chair, I'll second the motion and just add the comment that this, in light of what Mr. Reid has said also, is a deferral because the applicant is waiting for a updated zoning review. So under those circumstances, I'll second the motion.
Through the chair, just to clarify, the applicant requested a deferral to address concerns with the neighbors, not for a zoning review.
I correct myself. My apologies. I was reading in a dated email here. So in light of the neighbors, I will still second the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stinson. So I have a motion to defer this matter. The deferral will be sine die. The motion was put forth by Mr. Reed and seconded by Mr. Stinson. All those in favor of a deferral sine die of item 11, Regency Square. I have 4 in support. All those opposed? Mr. Said is opposed to the deferral. The matter has been deferred sine die. Those who spoke in today or registered online will receive a notice when this matter comes back before the committee. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance. Madam Secretary Treasurer, are there any other matters for deferral?
Through the chair, there are none.
Thank you. Okay, we will proceed with item 1, which is 35 BENROYAL Crescent. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. So, application number 1 is for 35 BENROYAL Crescent. It's an application to demolish an existing dwelling and to construct a new 2-story dwelling. The application has a number of variances. Get organized here. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to the application for 35 BENROYAL Crescent? Okay, would you please come down to the podium and just wait until I call upon you to speak. There are people online who wish to speak to this application as well.
Ian said this morning that he just wishes to observe, so it's all in person only.
Okay.
The applicant is online, indeed.
Thank you. Okay. The applicant is online. Each speaker has 5 minutes to make a presentation. The applicant goes first. Committee then has an opportunity to ask any questions of the applicant. Then the speakers in the audience will go next, each in line, and then the speakers on the YouTube will go next. After all the speakers have spoken, the applicant has the opportunity to rebut the comments and raise issues that were addressed in the application only, no extraneous issues. So, starting off to the applicant. I think it's Mr. Irfan. Do you wish to make a presentation?
Members and Madam Chair, my name is Nadeem Irfan, NIA Architects, and I'm the applicant and agent of this application.
Thank you. Do you wish to?
I would like.
Go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to bring it to the committee members' attention. This application was presented to the committee last year, February, with 5 variances. And due to the concerns from the neighbors, we requested a deferral. And since then, we have improved our application significantly. So out of 5 variances, we have deleted 4 variances and improved our only 1 variance now, which is the lot coverage from 38 to 36.63%. And in the meantime, we sent out the package to the neighbors through the homeowner, and we conveyed our the improvements to the neighbors, and we provided our contact details. If any neighbor has any concern, they can directly reach out to us. And I would like to also mention that this variance is very, very minor. This variance has not caused any other variances. We meet all the setback, we meet the height, we meet the building length, we meet the front yard setback and front yard landscape requirement, all that. There's only 1 variance, and which is the lot coverage from 33 to 36.63, which is approximately 19 square meter. So we request the committee to consider this for approval, as this is minor and meet the 4 tests. Thank you.
Thank you. For the first speaker, would you come up to the podium, please? Give us your name and address, and then you have 5 minutes.
My name is Catherine Davies. I am 37 BENROYAL Crescent, which is next door to this dwelling that this gentleman wants to tear down. We have we are bungalows. We have a very small community. Everybody on the street is the same size houses. This 2-story house will actually take right up to our wall by the side of the house. Sorry, Jerry. But by the side of the house. And we will have no sunlight whatsoever coming into our basement or our side door, our side window. Our house is a small house, and the basement, the windows are a safety issue. We are both seniors, and that is the only way out if we have a fire. The applicant rents this place out right now, so I don't know why he says he's come to the neighbors. The only thing that has happened is that we got a letter in our door 4 or 5 days ago. We are also got 3 windows that are on the application to will look straight into our house. 3. Right now we have 1 basement window. The house is double the size of any other lot on the street. It is very, very narrow. I know this gentleman is asking for a variance on his plan because his maximum coverage for this variance is 33%, and he has applied to 36.7. The other variance that was asked to be last year, Councillor Ainsley had put through other variances that he wanted to be covered. This has not been covered either. And this also went to the direct zoning and secretary treasurer, which none of these have been covered in this application. We have a huge back garden, and this is why this gentleman wants to build all the way to the back of the garden. We will have no sunlight. We have been living in this house for 37 years, and most of the applicants on that street have been here between 40 to 50 years. This is just not acceptable in a small area. I have no idea where this gentleman is even going to put his, the transportation, the building supplies that are going to cause huge havoc on that street. We feel that this isn't, so right now, at the side of our house, we have 4 feet between their house and our house. We have a fence, and then we have our air conditioner, which is 22 inches from his property. We have a chimney, which is a main chimney of the house, which is 30 inches from his property. So I have no idea how anybody is going to build a wall that close to our house. I have no idea how we're going to get into our AC, how we're going to have a safety issue getting out of the house. And we feel this is just a way too big a property right now and dangerous for the applicants on both sides. Right now, that's all I can think of. And there's mature trees that have been in that back garden for 40 years, which we have already been told by the forestry people that they will not be coming down. And you can see that this was already deferred from last year, where we had a lot of people that have signed petitions, and hopefully that has come forward to this committee, that people on the street are seniors and they have actually, signed these petitions, which took a lot of effort and a lot of caring for them. And I hope this will be considered.
Okay, thank you very much. I note that we have received as a part of our package a petition of objection with 21 signatures that was presented to the committee the last time round. So we have that petition. Okay. Thank you. Any questions of the speaker? Mr. Sayed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the neighbor. They have their concern. We hear that. I'm just trying to understand the character of the street, and I found that there are no two-story building in that street. But would you like to confirm, although two-story building is allowed under the bylaws, I'm not talking about that, but just for your street, do you have the second story or two-story houses in your street?
No, sorry, no. No, not on BENROYAL.
Thank you.
No. They're all bungalows or outside splits. Yeah.
Any other questions? Can I have the second speaker, please? Good morning, sir. Could I have your name and your address first, please?
My name is George Georgescu, and I am living across the street at 48 BENROYAL Crescent.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. My concern about this property, it's the size of it with the two-story. I have here a picture of the house was built in Richmond Hill, which is in newspapers, and all the community in that street, it's against that huge master building, which is built in that street. And now the city is considered that to readjust the size of the buildings in the property, where all the properties in our streets, it's 1 story high, and this is going to be like 2-story high. It's with about 10 meters high, which it's going to be a monster, and the little houses. And the windows, I never see a windows in our property to view over the other side properties. And my concern is the safety of this building, which is going to be with probably no shorings, going down about 10 feet down to the original where they're going to start to build the basements. And the quality in our street, it's going down. And many years I've been in in my house for over 30 years. And because of the renters, they are in those houses, they do not take care of the properties, and they don't cut the grass. It's no snow remover. I have some pictures in our neighborhood which they don't do that, and it's a mess on the properties. If you want to see that, because my situation, I couldn't send it to you. I had like 5 days, and I like you to see them. I have them here in our neighborhood, and the other property in 1 Ben Alden, which is a mess, undescribed, and you cannot even walk on those properties or in the house without being hurt or damaged. So that is my concern.
Okay.
Sorry about that, because I have problems with my speech.
Thank you very much, sir. Do I have any questions from committee members to the speaker? No? Thank you, sir. Can I have the next speaker, please?
Do you want to see those things?
I believe that if it was not submitted prior to this meeting, we can't take anything in at the meeting itself. We can just listen to you, but we can't accept any pictures.
Okay.
We will believe, though, that what you have described is the situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Can I have your name and address?
Sure. My name is Carolyn Kasapian, and I live at 33 BENROYAL Crescent. In 2008, my husband and I bought our home. 5.5 months before we got married. And it was supposed to be a starter home for us, but for us, it became a community as soon as we kind of moved into the neighborhood. We fell in love with our property, and we also fell in love with the neighbors and the community that we have. We are really disappointed that the current homeowner wants to demolish and build a brand new dwelling next door to us. One of the main concerns that my husband and I have actually is the safety of this building. The way that our homes are built, our front doors are actually not front facing to the street, but our main entrances are actually on the side of our driveways. And so having a building that is being built next door to us would be a considerable safety issue. I have a small son. I have a dog that's, really old. And so for us, it is, we're concerned about the water that's going to be coming so close to the building, taken to our property. We're worried for possible floodings that will incur. Currently, the way that the house is, we look at a brick wall from our kitchen, but we get a great amount of sunlight. And with a new dwelling, we will be looking into someone else's dining room, and they will be looking directly into our kitchen. And when I'm outside doing a barbecue, when I'm barbecuing, I will be looking at a brick wall instead of seeing trees in the sky. Another concern we have is that we have a pool in our backyard, and the height of it, this new dwelling, will actually look directly into our private space. And that is a bit of a concern with small children. We entertain quite a lot of people in our home, family, friends, and it's a concern to us that our privacy would be questioned. Another concern we have is that since the new homeowner purchased this home, it has been used as basically a rental property to international students. People have been coming and going for several years, and it hasn't been maintained at all in any shape or form. and based on the new plans that were submitted to us, it also suggests that it now has an opportunity, instead of renting out 4 to 5 individuals, it can actually hold 7 to 9 other individuals as well. So it's a bit of a concern that it's been a revolving door of people coming and going. We hate to say it, but we kind of don't know who comes and lives next door to us. Some are nice, some are loud, some are not. Everything is always in question as to who our neighbors are going to be. I could tell you who my neighbors are adjacent to me and also across from me for houses. But I wouldn't be able to tell you who my next door neighbor is at 35 BENROYAL because I have never met him. Another concern we have is that we don't have garages. So while this build is happening, I mean, regardless of new car, old car, I have a fairly new vehicle. Where am I expected to park my vehicle while this construction is happening? Onto the street where there's going to be trucks, people coming and going, or am I expected to just endure the damages that will incur to my vehicle and also to my home as well while things are being dug up? So those are my concerns.
Okay, thank you very much for your concerns. We've made note of them. Is there anyone who wishes to ask a question of the speaker? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Hi there. My name is Eileen Page, and I live at, I live at 34 BENROYAL Crescent, which is across the street from the proposed new house. I would like to respectfully express my objection to the proposed demolition and construction of a 2-story residence at 35 BENROYAL Crescent. As a homeowner on the street, and this home has been in our family for 67 years now, I feel that if allowed, this will have a negative impact on the nature of our neighborhood, our privacy, and our quality of life. Allowing such a large structure will negatively impact our neighborhood, with such a large structure overshadowing existing residential homes. It will also take away the unique character of the street, dominated by 1-story single-family homes. Okay, next concern is loss of natural light. Allowing a 2-story structure to be built will block any natural light into the homes located on either side of 35 BENROYAL Crescent and will darken property gardens and lawns. Loss of privacy has been addressed by the adjacent neighbors, but I support their fight on that, because allowing, how are people supposed to enjoy time in their backyard when they don't feel that they have the privacy? One of our biggest concerns, especially me being across the street and not adjacent though, is still concerns during the demolition and rebuild. The demolition can lead to excessive dust and noise, which will impact the lives and enjoyment of their homes and gardens of those living in the surrounding homes. Another concern is possible damage to adjacent houses from falling material and uncontrolled debris. BENROYAL Crescent is not a large, wide street, and the parking of large construction vehicles will result in street congestion and have an impact on the safety of those using the street to gain access to their homes. And also, there is an environmental impact, as nearly all demolition results in a large amount of waste. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Just before you leave, any questions of the speaker? Mr. Sayed has a question for you. No, stay there. He has a question for you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I'm asking, what is the, although she has mentioned a privacy concern, how does living across the privacy concern arises? How do you justify?
I can't hear.
The question, if I can rephrase it, is living across the road from this proposal, you have identified a privacy concern. He would like you to explain why that is a privacy concern.
Okay, just for me, I thought I had mentioned was, although it doesn't affect me directly, I am just mentioning it in support of my neighbors that are in the adjacent homes.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Sorry if I didn't say that properly the first time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone online? No? Okay. To the applicant, you have an opportunity to add any other comments.
Yes, Madam Chair. I read the letter from the neighbor, and I also heard the comments and concerns. And I can assure you, we can definitely amicably deal with these concerns during the construction stage. If I were to say about safety, there will be a construction fence all around the property, will be cordoned off, and Ministry of Labor guidelines are there. City inspector will be there to ensure that the safety is taken care. Coming back to privacy, I don't see how the privacy is compromised. There would be, after the construction, there will be a wooden fence between the properties. So there won't be any, by building this new house, there won't be any compromise on the privacy. Looking at the sunlight comment, the properties, all these properties, the neighbors' properties are backing onto the south side, so nobody's in fact blocking anybody's sunlight. With coming to the demolition, causing dust and noise, there are bylaws. Construction crews are allowed to work between certain hours, and they have to mitigate with all the solutions for these problems and make sure there's no, dust other than just the normal. So I wanted to say that all these concerns are genuine, yes. They're going to be there whether we come to the committee or not, whether we build within the bylaw 33% or we request for the 36%. These concerns are valid concerns. They are going to be there. And we assure that on behalf of the owner and the builder, definitely these will be taken care of. Now, coming and justifying the additional, that 3%, if we were not granted that 3%, the house width will be the same. The side yard setback will be the same. The front yard setback will be the same. That additional coverage we're requesting, that is about 1.68 meter at the backyard of that property. So by extending the house, which is 11.3 meter wide and 1.6 meter extension, we're not reducing the backyard. We're not reducing the rear yard landscape and all that. So I trust the variance is minor. There's no negative impact on any of the neighbors by asking this variance. But yeah, their concerns are valid. They are valid because not just because of the variance, they are valid because of the construction. Whether we build without the committee approval or whether we ask for, whether we are granted this minor variance, the concerns are still the same. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Nadeem, while I will appreciate that over a period of 11 months, you have been able to decrease the variances from 5 to 1, which is a good attempt. Perhaps you have been working a lot to make the improvements. I wonder, do you have the chance to meet with the neighbors, immediate neighbors right and left or across the street, and to explain them and have a conversations with them? I just want to know, like, what kind of communication do you have with the neighbors before coming back to the committee?
To the applicant?
Through you, Madam Chair, we requested the owner to go meet and talk to them with the amended zoning notice that we used to strike out all the variances. I was told, and I was not personally gone to meet the neighbors, I was told that there is a resistance from the neighbors. Nobody opened the doors for him. I'm not testifying this, but this is what I was told. And in light of that, what we did in July somewhere, we wrote a letter with the revised package, and we sent it to the homeowner to deliver to the neighbors. So I confirmed with the neighbor. I confirmed with the owner, and it was recently dropped at the neighbors. And we gave our contact number, we gave our business card, that, if anybody has any concern, they can directly reach out to us. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay. I see we have a condition from Urban Forestry and Urban Forestry Services. Sorry, Urban Forestry. Are you aware of that condition to the applicant?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, committee. What is the wish of committee? We're now in committee. Mr. Saeed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, ma'am. After listening to the applicant and his architect, as well as the people in opposition, I feel that probably the architect has addressed the concern very well, and the concerns are legitimate. And I find that this application has minor variance, only one variance lot coverage. And I move this application be approved with forestry conditions.
Thank you. I have a motion for approval. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Mr. Reed? Okay, I have a motion for approval of this application by Mr. Saeed, Mr. Khan, seconded by Mr. Reed, subject to the conditions of urban forestry. All those in favor? That motion is carried. The application has been approved.
Through the chair, for the record, was that unanimously?
Pardon?
Was that unanimous?
Yes, sorry, it was unanimous. Okay, we will now move to. No, is that? Okay, thank you very much. We've heard this matter. The item is now finished. We're no longer dealing with this item. You can contact the owner or contact the applicant, but the city has no further position on this, except as they will deal with a standard building permit.
I hope this all happens to every single one of you. That you get screwed over like this.
Okay, thank you very much. We're moving on to the next item on the agenda.
I hope you all get screwed over like we are.
Okay, the next item on the next item on the agenda is item number 2 for 5 BALCARRA Avenue. Five BALCARRA Avenue in Cliff Crest Community. The purpose of the application is to demolish the existing dwelling and to construct a new 2-story dwelling. This application was previously deferred and it has now been revised with 3 variances. Is the applicant online?
Hi, good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. I'm
sorry.
from 5 BALCARRA.
Okay, just a minute. I need to ask whether there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this matter. This is number 5 BALCARRA Avenue. Seeing none, thank you to the applicant. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. I'm the agent for 5 BALCARRA. My name is Nicole Parr, and I live at 22 Blue Forest Drive, Toronto, Ontario, M3H4W2. So just a little bit of background on this project. We started this project last year, but there was a notice in our application from TRCA that requested a deferral. The reason for their request was to work out issues with TRCA as it deals with the stable top of slope analysis, and to get some more information via a geotechnical report, and to organize with them. So in that time since our last application before the Committee of Adjustment, we've taken the months to organize with TRCA and receive their approval in principle by way of having a geotechnical investigation, doing a concept development application, and a strenuous conversation with TRCA to meet their needs. This site is very specific, and its major obstacle is the stable top of slope with a 10-meter safety buffer that's seen in the south of the property where the rear yard setback is. We had to carefully design a building that included this 10-meter setback, but also give enough room for a family home. We're before you today to ask for 3 variances. One of which is by a site specific, meaning the frontage of the lot is supposed to be 12 meters, but our frontage is 8.47. That's something that we can't control. That's just the nature of the lot. The minimum side yard setback is because we had to push the house very much so in front to meet the 10-meter setback, which we just on the nose meet. And height is just to allow a little bit more height for the property to have proper story height. So we feel that our application is minor in nature. We feel that it meets the 4 tests. And I just wanted to note our lot coverage of what we're allowed to build on the lot is 20.77, where we're actually allowed 33%. So I humbly ask the committee for their comments and feedback, and to take this further. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I note that we have a number of comments from the agencies, community planning, the ravine and natural forest protection, urban forestry, and we have a letter from TRCA that confirms your meetings with them and that they are satisfied. Are you in agreement with the conditions of the other agencies, including community planning?
We are.
Thank you.
We are. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Mr. Seed. Mr. Hahn.
Thank you, madam. Through you, madam. My concern is variance number 2, which is a building setback abutting lot line 2.28 as against the minimum requirement of 4.5 meters from the lot line. Now, this one, how do you, the least of the least is not justified. How do you explain that this is, we should accept?
Thank you. So I would say that because we had to push the building in front, we didn't have an opportunity to push it back, which would have given a larger setback. This allows us to have proper functions in the home. We very much so wish that we could have pushed the house back and developed more of a rectangular building lengthwise, but we weren't given that option with the TRCA conversations that we had. Again, this is a very irregular lot in its curvature. If the lot was a perfect square, the way that most lots are, we would have had more side yard setback. You do have actual more room other than what the property is. You have a perfect square there with front yard landscaping. It's just that this lot is measured from the circular portion of the lot.
Okay. Do you have any? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To the applicant, I have 2 questions on that. Beside the TRCA, it's very good that it has been worked out and they are satisfied with you. But at the same time, over the period, you must have, I think the variances, there is no difference in the application is coming as it is from variance number 1 to 3. They are the same. And I have concerns on that, on the frontage variance, which is variance number 1, as well as the height of the building, which is 9.5 meter. So how you compare this frontage and height of this dwelling with the neighboring dwellings?
I would note that the neighbor at 7 BALCARRA also had a height variance. And then the frontage of the property is not really something that we can control. To be honest with you, we measured frontage differently as opposed to the zoning examiner who was part of our application. We measured it at 15.18, but they measured differently and we didn't want to cause a problem. This is a very irregular lot in the way that the frontage is measured. And we had no control over that. The lot itself is over 15 meters, but the way that you measure frontage is different because of the nature of the lot. For the height is something that we are willing to work on with the committee if they so choose, but this is the height that we needed to get the proper stories for my clients who are living there with their family and plan to use this as a family home.
Thank you. So again, so what's the triggering factor for this height? Why you are proposing this height and why it can't be reduced to the as standard and approved by the bylaws? As you said, you could work on that. So could you just further elaborate on this, please?
Sure. For this style of building, we wanted to give a very generous roof. We could shave down the roof and make it work, but it's just the style of home that my client likes, and we wanted to give them exactly what they wanted when they're going to be spending $2-3 million building the house. But if the committee feels the height is too much, we're willing to eliminate that variance.
I will appreciate that if you can go by the same height, because I was looking into the street character and I don't see there is any house, or if there is any, you can mention to me. Most of the houses are within the range as given by the bylaws, which is 9 meter.
Okay, thank you.
As I mentioned, we're willing to eliminate that variance because we can shave down the roof a little bit and make everything work. So if the committee feels that that's too much, I'm very willing to appreciate the committee's comments and work with you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. The applicant has agreed to change the variances and reduce variance number 3 for building height and go back to a 9-meter height.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you for being able to do that. Do I have any other comments or questions of the applicant? Yes, Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. And I just want to reiterate what Member Said said. That was my concern. So I'm appreciative of him asking the question and the applicant's agent's answer. So that seems to be addressed. If that height can be shaved off, I feel much better.
Okay. All right. Do I have any further comments? Do I have a motion? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the applicant to be flexible, to bring the height down to the, taking out this actually variance number 3. Madam Chair, I put forward motion for approval of item number 2 as amended, subject to the community planning, RNFP, TRCA, and urban forestry condition number 3.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Chair, I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion for approval as amended from Mr. Said, seconded by Mr. Stinson. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Through the chair, for the record, was it passed unanimously? For the record, can you state if it was passed unanimously?
Okay, sorry. That application was approved unanimously. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, 46 Pitt Avenue. '46 Pitt Avenue. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address this matter? No? Okay. I have the applicant, and I have a couple of speakers online. To the applicant, do you wish to make a presentation? This is 45 Pitt
Yes.
Avenue.
Yes,
Sorry,
good morning,
46.
everyone. My name is Leo Mastandre. I'm the agent for the owners at 46 Pitt. And we deferred this application in June to address the neighbors' concerns. We dealt with most of them. We were working closely with zoning and planning. Initially, we had 13 variances, and we're here today with 3, which I spoke to the zoning examiner, and I'm able to remove variance number 2 and variance number 3. So basically, we're here for only 1 variance, and that's for the main house. And I think based on that, we could actually remove variance number 2 and number 3. So the garden suite is as a right, and there are no variances. Based on the planning report, they tied us to the drawings, but I don't think that's necessary because it's to do with the garden suite, and basically we comply now, and we don't have any variances. So to tie us to our plans, I don't think it makes any sense. But if that's what you feel is necessary, then I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you. I understand then the only variance that we're dealing with is the elevation of the main pedestrian entrance through the front or side door. Is that correct?
Correct. It's the front door.
Okay, and the variances dealing with garden suite have been eliminated.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any comments from the committee? No? Okay. I believe I have a couple of speakers. Are there any speakers?
Yes, my name is Rosemary Vincent. I live at 44 Pitt Avenue.
Thank you. Go ahead, Rosemary.
My concerns are the size of the garden suite. It's 30 foot 2 inches wide, and the property is only 40. And I don't see this building being acceptable in our backyard. We'll have no privacy at all. It's not like zoning here is residential. Garden suites are not part of the character of our neighborhood. I mean, we have the petition that was signed, how many people are against it, and it would have been more names if we'd have had more time and not during the Christmas breaks. It limits privacy to adjacent properties. There's no green space, room for trees, no clear path on the south side for fire and emergency services. Parking issues. There'll be like up to 3 families living there, up to 12, 14 people living there, and they'll all be renters. And the owners will not be living there, having to look at this building in the backyard. We, the neighbors, will. City services, water, sewage, and garbage have not, the water and sewage hasn't been increased, nothing done to it in years. I found discrepancies in the drawings. The garden suite now is larger. It's actual living space instead of the carport, what they were going to do now, it's living space. So you've got 2 bedrooms, no windows in the bedrooms upstairs, just skylights. To me, this is an issue, and only one door. They have 3 windows in the front of the garden suite that are 5 foot by 4 feet, like facing our properties. They'll be looking right into my house. When we bought this house, like we've been here 37 years, and we had the privacy, that's why we bought it. And I don't see why now garden suites are just being put in neighborhoods. This would be the first one. No one wants this in our neighborhood. And I don't see why someone does not come out to actually see the size of the property that is going on and how it will affect the neighborhood. Parking will be an issue if that many people are living in the house. They got a garage and a parking pad for electric cars. Now, if the same families aren't living in the house, how are they going to move the cars to get everybody in? They'll be parking on the streets, and we already have that issue right now. I just can't see, like, the height of our fences are 6 feet. Now, these buildings, this garden suite is going to be over 19 feet high. So what do we have to do? We have to move our fences to have them like 12, 14 feet high in order to have privacy in our backyards. They'll be looking right into our backyard. And the garbage, what will happen with the garbage? They have the garbage sitting right by my fence. How are they going to have enough space for all the garbage that is going to need to go out on the street? And if it's rented and rented to different families, who's going to take the responsibility of putting this garbage out on the street for pickup? This is not affordable housing. Definitely not.
Okay, Madam.
So I'd like...
You have 1 minute to go.
Well, I'd like to know what happened with the discrepancies in the drawings, the numbers that I found. Who looked at that? Has anybody looked at these drawings and seen the discrepancies in them? If the deck is attached to the house, that's considered part of the house. So now the land between the house and the garden suite is not as big as what it says on the actual drawings. Has anyone investigated that? Does anybody come out and look at the property? This is going to set a precedent. Does anybody come out and look at the actual property where they're going to build this? It's easy enough to look at papers and look at the numbers, but when you actually see, it's going to be 2 houses on a 40-foot lot. It's 2 bedrooms upstairs, and there's 2 more rooms in the basement.
Okay. All right. Thank
These
you very
places are
much.
going to be rooming house.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
comments. I will say that the application that we have before us is the first stage. The application will have to be thoroughly reviewed by the building department before a building permit is issued. I do recognize that you have some concerns. Any comments from the committee members? No? All right. We have a second speaker.
Young. I live at 957A Victoria Park Avenue. So my property will be facing.
Did we just lose her?
Hello? I just got muted. Hello, should I start again?
Yes, just again.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
No? Okay, wonderful. So my property, 957A, backs on to the backyard of 44 Pitt, or 46 Pitt Avenue. So I have submitted my objections in letter in writing, as well as obtained a petition from my neighbors. This is indeed the garden suite. It will impact, obviously, my enjoyment of my property. And I've shared with you that right now the distance from the edge of my deck to my backyard is 6 meters, barely a car length, in which then will be proposed a 2-story building, which I'm going to be looking at a wall. My property does not have windows on either the east side or the south side. And then I have 2 windows on my property that faces north, in which one window faces my neighbor, in which it's about a meter's distance. And the only really real window and view I have in my house is the deck window, okay, which it's my family room. And right now the proposal is I'm going to be looking at a wall. I've seen building developments in Toronto. Okay, the condominiums being built right now in downtown Toronto, particularly across from 250 Wellington, has a greater distance, okay, between them than my house will have. And certainly supporting my neighbors' comments regarding the neighborhood. Currently, there's over 7 properties that are rental units. None of these are really, some of these are family, but majority of these are rooming. They're rooming houses. We do have garbage issues already in the neighborhood, the care of property. This is not going to be a property that is going to be owner occupied. It is going to be individual, in which we're looking at a potential of 11 to 14 people that can live on this property, which is the concern to me for safety, as well as some of the garbage rodent issues that we faced in the neighborhood. And as well, the concern too, even though I'm in the backyard, is the extent or lack of, space that allows for emergency, entrance. Because right now, this is maximum built on the lot. And I don't see how a garage with a car pad in which you have to move cars is the only access by emergency, services, will be doable. Okay. And as well, too, these are fully dug out basement properties. So I'm concerned about the green space because there's always been flooding in the neighborhood. My property had to have a catch basin built in to support the neighboring properties' landscape and the water issues. So when you were having a 2 property with about 11 to 14 individuals occupants, then how have we considered the infrastructure built? And similar to, this, electricity, power, sewage. So to me, this is an oversized build. And I have seen where also, yes, there has been carriage, garden suites or laneway houses that's been approved. Often these do not back into a neighbor's property that is so close. Often the backyard is, backing onto roads and streets or, areas that are not occupied by other neighbors. So it is of concern to me how, this being proposed literally 6 meters away from my backyard.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the applicants? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask the speaker, what is your address again, please?
957A Victoria Park.
Thank you.
And just for clarity, that's directly behind this property? So you're directly to the west of the...
It is.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of the speaker? Seeing none, we have a third speaker. Is the third speaker online?
43 Pitt Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Holm. Please proceed.
I have a concern. I'm just crossed from the 46 Pitt Avenue. And yes, I do a very friendly and we have a really good neighborhood here. We are living so long in this neighborhood, myself living almost 27 years. And what I see as a what is called green space is very important. And some neighbors, which is number 44, that lady living there forever her life, and number 48, those 2 houses completely losing their privacy according to that garden suite. So this is my concern. And I really will be appreciate if someone physically can come to the property and check it out what's going on instead of just looking at the paper and drawing. And physically visit it, it will be more appropriate. And this is my concern about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the speaker? No? Okay. To the applicant, you have a chance to make a rebuttal. I understand we're dealing only now with one variance, but there is a number of concerns about the garden suite, if you want to address that as well.
Leo, you have been unmuted.
Go ahead, Leo.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I cannot hear you guys.
We can hear you. Did you hear the comments from the residents?
I was able, if you can hear me, I was able to hear the last speaker, but for some reason I can't hear you guys right now.
All right. We're not speaking at the moment. We're just asking you to comment. Sir, can you hear us? Do you wish to give a
Through the chair, we're just going to try to connect and reconnect him.
Thank you.
Can you hear
Hello?
us now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I cannot hear you guys, but like I said, we were working very closely with planning and zoning, and we only have one variances. The garden suite is as a right, and the city did pass the bylaw for 4 suites. I'm not too sure what we can do, but we came back from 13 variances to just 1. I believe it meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act.
Okay. All right, sir. There is a number of questions about the garden suite, and I know that you now meet all the zoning requirements for a garden suite. But the community planning had asked that the application be...
I don't know if you're speaking to me, but I cannot hear anything, so I don't sure what I should do right now.
Okay.
Leo, if it's possible, can you please call in by phone? That way you're able to hear us.
I don't know what to do. Maybe someone can call my cell phone or something. I'm not too sure.
Or if there's a setting on your laptop that says...
If you can hear me, it's 416-721-3698.
Through the chair, we've sent him call-in details, so bear with us for a moment.
Thank you. While we're waiting, do any of the members have any questions on this matter? You do? Okay, thank you. We'll have to wait until
Through the
he's
chair,
back.
if we can hold any discussion until the applicant's back. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we had a letter from the staff and then the revised letter after cancelling 2nd and 3rd.
Through the chair, can there be no discussion until the applicant's back online?
Technology is great when it works.
My team, right? Just keeping them updated as to what's happening.
Leo,
I was
can you
able
hear
to
us?
hear everything up to the last speaker, so I'm not too sure what happened.
He was already on the phone calling in too. I'm going to try ask him again. He's talking to Shirley right now. But he called. He was on the phone. I didn't realize he was on the phone. Leo, are you able to hear us?
Sir, can you hear us? We'd like to proceed with this application. And we have still 4 speakers who have spoken on this. 3 speakers. Are we able to connect with the applicant? Okay, for those who are listening, we're still trying to contact the applicant. We're asking him to hang up because we're not able to speak to him and telephone us in again. If you just bear with us while we try to contact the applicant. The applicant has the opportunity to speak again before we take this matter into committee, and we have some questions of the applicant, so we do need to have him connected with us.
Can you hear us, Leo?
Yeah, I still can't hear anything from that side though, and I called in.
Are you?
I use my phone line, not the WebEx line.
Yep. Are you able to log in from?
Through the chair, perhaps we can take a 5-minute break to sort out the tech issues and get the applicant on WebEx.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, to the members, we're going to take a 5-minute break. To the people online, we are taking a 5-minute break and hoping that we can get the applicant online again. There'll be no discussion of this application while we're on break.
Leo, can you hear us?
Is there another way to do it? Like what they're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you hear us, Leo?
Because it's going to be quite a bit of a delay.
Oh, I guess Joey's time to go on YouTube. Should we? Okay. Yeah, just put your. Maybe put yourself on private if you don't want them having your number. I'm gonna tell him right now.
Using the other number.
Speaking right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Wait,
Everyone can hear that, okay?
no, it's not him. Someone else called it. They can't hear us either. So it might be the room.
Leo, can you hear us now?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Leo, we just unmuted you again. Can you hear? Oh.
Hear you.
Hi, Leo.
I can hear you.
We just unmuted you, and we can hear you.
Okay, are you through WebEx?
Yes, through WebEx.
Okay. I can hear you guys.
Okay. Okay.
I can hear you anyways.
Okay, Leo, hang tight. We're going to just settle back in and pick up where we left off. One moment.
Okay. Leo, can you hear us? Yes?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. This is your opportunity to speak for the next 5 minutes. Do you have anything you wish to add to
Through the chair.
your
Through
comments?
the chair. He already made his 5-minute rebuttal. It's just if you have questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. I understand. I'm sorry. I've lost track of where we are. We've already had your rebuttal, so now we're into the questions of the applicant. Mr. Han, you had a question?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to have, I forgot the question now.
Okay.
I'll let it go.
Okay. I had a question of the applicant as well. You've changed your application, and therefore the variance dealing with the garden suite is not necessarily before us. But community staff had requested that the application be in conformity with the site plan as submitted. And I think that probably, given that this is a garden suite and they're fairly new to the area and there has been some concerns about it, that I would appreciate it if you would agree that the application be built substantially in accordance with the plans that we have in front of us, including the garden suite. So, Leo, I am asking you whether you agree to that condition of community planning.
Well,
Substantially
I
in
don't think it's necessary because I removed those two variances regarding, but if that's what it takes, I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, I just don't want to be tied to something in case, you know, my client wants to make a few changes in regards to whatever the case may be, but if that's what you feel, then I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you. I do appreciate that. And the wording is substantially in accordance, so I know that the planning staff and building staff will take that wording as clear that it is substantially in accordance, not necessarily identical to the plans that we have in front of us. So, given that, do I have, yes, Mr. Stinson.
Yeah, so thank you, Chair. I wanted to also reiterate what the Chair said. It was important to me to hear that it would be actually tied to the site plans, so thank you for bringing that up. I also find that in listening to what I've heard, I have some views on it, but I'll wait to see if I'm given an opportunity then.
Anyone else? No. Yes, Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Chair. I'm concerned about if we tie it to plans because the plans are reflecting variances that are being requested. So if we tie it to the plans, but the variances aren't given because the applicant's no longer going for them, then we will be tying the approval to variances that would be required. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
So I would prefer to not tie it to plans, but while people are thinking about that, I would just like to commend the applicant for this second go-around removing a whole host of variances, and then the only one that remains is in regard to the front door height, and I think that's a common situation in new builds and renovations. So I don't have a concern with that. But just to address some of the concerns that the people who phoned in, thank you for your comments, but I think that our hands are tied. The garden suites are permitted, and the applicant is not looking for any variances in order to construct them, so he can do this as of right. And I understand this is going to be an impact on people's enjoyment of their properties, definitely, but it's City Council made this decision, so there's nothing we can really say in that regard. So anyway, I'm going to be supporting the application.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Stinson?
Thank you, Chair. Notwithstanding what Committee Member Reed said, that's an important consideration now from his experience. I did find, as Committee Member Reed said, that in a different way it meets the 4-test rule, that garden suites are now allowed by our city, and because of that, it's the changing face of our community characters, and we need to note that because communities are constantly changing. I don't see a big issue with the recommendations, especially when I look in the general neighborhood too, at 44 and other addresses on this street that are already modified and different dwellings than the original homes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I echo the same comments made by the other members of the committee. Yes, Madam Chair, I believe the application is in a very good shape now, bringing it from 13 variances to 1 variance. And if I look at that variance, which is before now to the committee, I believe it is minor in nature. And also the CP condition should not be there at this point of time when the variance number 2 and 3 has already been taken off. So I think we should be just considering this approval or whatever without the CP condition. There is only one condition of urban forestry should be there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Saeed. Okay, Mr. Freed and Mr. Saeed, you have persuaded me to change my mind to withdraw that request that it be subject to community planning review. Yes, it is now permitted as of right, and we need to acknowledge that. So thank you very much for your comments. Okay, do I have a motion? Mr. Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You agreed on that. With that, Madam Chair, I put forward motion for approval of item 3 as amended, subject to urban forestry condition number 2.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Reed?
I'll second that.
Thank you. I have a motion by Mr. Saeed and seconded by Mr. Reed for approval of this variance application as modified and subject to community forestry conditions. All those.
All right, Chair, can you repeat which conditions?
The 2 conditions.
I just want to confirm you didn't say community planning's conditions, just urban forestry.
Yes, just urban forestry conditions, sorry. Nope. Okay, so approval has been recommended by Mr. Saeed, seconded by Mr. Forrest for approval of this variance, subject only to urban forestry conditions, no other conditions. And all those in favor? That matter is carried unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Leo. Okay. Item number 4 was deferred, so we're now on item number 5, which is 170 Eglinton Square, Victoria Park Avenue, and ENGELHART Crescent.
You're going to give the presentation.
Second, I don't have any speakers other than the applicant. Is the applicant online?
Tom, you have been unmuted.
We are.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to item number 5, Eglinton Square, Victoria Park, and Eglinton Crescent? No? Okay. And we have no speakers online.
Tom Jankos from Kingston Capital, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can, Mr. Angus. This is quite an interesting application. I understand the variance is only dealing with the parking. However, given that this is a fairly substantial application, is it possible that you give us a very short overview of the proposal? And in addition, one of the questions I have is, where are you starting? Which building are you going to start with? So,
okay. We have a presentation that I believe we submitted to committee. I'm not sure if the committee secretary can share that with you.
I believe we have presentation material.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you see that on your screen?
Yes, we brought that up on our screen.
Perfect. If you can go to the second page, please. So this is a multi-phased development. It's going to be built over the course of several years. And when I say several years, I'm 50 years old. I don't think I'm going to live to see it finished, especially the way that the construction on the LRT is going. So we own Eglinton Square Plaza, and what's been happening in the Golden Mile because of the LRT line is everyone's been redeveloping their property. So we redeveloped this property. It's going to be a series of buildings, residential and residential towers with commercial at ground, and they will be built out in phases. I am not sure which phases will go first. Our current thoughts are that the two buildings on Victoria Park will be phase one. Those can be built with the mall still in place. So what will happen is you will start building, and as you build more and as the market hopefully comes back, you will start demolishing pieces of the mall to facilitate the construction. At a certain point in time, we'll make a decision working with city staff on how much of the mall or when we take down the entire mall. So again, I see that mall sitting there at least for the next 5 to 10 years. And as we progress with construction, portions of the mall will be demolished. That's not uncommon when you're dealing with large sites like this in the periphery of the city. So that's kind of where we are. And what we're asking for is a variance for the parking. And our variance is essentially in line with the new city bylaw and policy endorsed by Toronto Council. So what we're doing on a lot of projects is we had them approved. We had a specific parking ratio in those bylaws. And then the city came along and they changed their parking requirement, the City of Toronto, because they're investing in all this transit and they want people to ride on this transit, so we pay for this transit. So all we are asking for is for parking variance so that we actually come in line and conform with the current city's policy on parking. We circulated everything. We discussed this application with city staff, including planning staff, transportation staff. Their comments are with you, and they have no issues. If there's any specific questions or if I can articulate any further, I'm happy to do so.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Do I have any questions from the committee members? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was expecting some more elaborations on the project, but as the applicant was just telling, they are not clear about the time frame or what kind of developments are there. So what the understanding is that at this point of time, it's only the parking assessments for whether it's a residential buildings to be constructed in future or commercial building, and they are bringing to the amended bylaws to bring it in line with the amended bylaws as far as the parking is concerned. Am I correct on that, or can you provide me some other?
Yes, sir. I can elaborate. For you, sir. So we have a official plan amendment in a zoning bylaw that has already been approved. That is in place. That will allow 2.8 million square feet of residential and commercial construction on the site, which will be built over the course of probably 25 to 30 years as you phase this project. Our initial intentions were to start with development this past year, but because of the market and the conditions, we may not start for another year or 2 years. But again, we have zoning in place to allow for 2.8 million square feet in a series of towers on the site. And our interest in redeveloping this property was primarily driven by the fact that the all levels of government invested billions of dollars in the LRT line. So we're thinking as that LRT line, hopefully before we all expire, comes to town, that we can start building this thing. Is there anything else that I haven't elaborated on? You mentioned that you wanted some additional information.
Thank you very much. That is helping me to understand, to visualize the project. Again, the question is that at this point of time, whatever the project managers, they are thinking about the parking perspective only. Tomorrow, like as you mentioned, this project is going to be for a long-term period, 10 years or 15 years. But the parking assessment is made today for a residential building, but over the coming years of 10 to 15 years, this parking requirements or the parking studies can give you a different picture. So at that point, that have to be changed accordingly. So why the project managers are not making it specific to one building with the want to take up in a year or 2 year or 5 year and make an assessment and also come up with what kind of developments will be there?
No, the bylaw that we are amending applies to the entire site. So the request for the variances would apply to the entire site. And what the provisions do is they allow us more flexibility in terms of the parking requirement and give us an idea of how we can start phasing and planning for this project. And what we are finding on a lot of our developments, whether they are in the downtown core or in the periphery, i.e. Scarborough or even Pickering, believe it or not, people aren't purchasing or requiring as much parking. I drive. None of my staff drives. None of the younger members of my family drive. So we're kind of trying to plan ahead and accommodate. So we need to understand right now what the general parking ratios will be for this site so that we can move forward and start planning how many levels of underground garage, what types of units we want to develop. That parking requirement will inform all of those other decisions so we can start moving forward. And in the event that we see people want more parking and they are willing to purchase it or rent it, we would build it. In the event that they don't want it, this variance allows us the flexibility to kind of meet with the market as we proceed. But again, we are requesting a variance for the bylaw because the bylaw covers the entire site.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for this elaboration.
You're welcome.
Yes, I do understand what is your goal at this point of time and what the variance before the committee is. I was just having a clarity, and thank you. I got it now. And I understand your goal is very clear. At this point of time, you are just bringing this parking to the amended bylaws according to that. Thank you.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other questions of the applicant? No. Thank you to the applicant. Committee members, are we ready to take this into committee now? Do I have a motion? Mr. Reid.
Thanks, Chair. I'm happy to bring a motion. I think that we're seeing this on a lot of large development sites and applicants coming back to change the parking ratios to reflect the new citywide zoning bylaw in regards to parking. And I think this is a reasonable approach that provides flexibility over the long-term development of the site. I think this satisfies the 4 tests, and I move approval of the application.
Through the chair, is that subject to transportation services conditions?
Pardon me, yes, to transportation conditions.
Thank you. Mr. Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion for approval from Mr. Reid, seconded by Mr. Said, subject to conditions from Transportation Services. All those in favor? That matter carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. We're now moving on to item number 6, 3463 Kingston Road.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, just one moment, sir. Okay. This is an application to convert the existing basement to a recreational use, and it increases the gross floor area. It increases the gross floor area of the property. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this item at 3465 and 3493 Kingston Road? No? Okay.
Online.
The applicant is online. Sir, do you wish to make a presentation?
Yes, my name is Slava, and I am designer of the project. The basement area proposed to be converted into the zoning group A, The basement is located on the big plaza with many stores and shops. The owner of the plazas is planning to use the basement area for sport activities such as gym or yoga studio, and it will attract more people to the plaza. The plaza has a lot of parking spots, more than the required for the customers in the plaza. By Toronto zoning requirements, we are allowed to use 0.33 times the area of the lot. The basement improvement will increase the coverage up to 0.34534, which times the lot, which is 1.3% more than permitted. Total exceeding area will be 4,661.8 square meters. It is the existing basement with the existing main entrance to the basement and existing second exit. We are not proposed to build any structure. It is not interfere with other plaza businesses and residents, and the owner strongly believe that improvement of the basement will increase the popularity of the plaza and bring more businesses to the plaza residents by increasing the number of the people who will be attending the plaza. I finish.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions of the applicant? Seeing none, are we prepared to make this matter into committee? Okay. Mr. Saeed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe this is a pretty straightforward application with one variance, and to me, that variance is minor in nature, and I'm supportive to that, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have a seconder. Mr. Stinson?
Yes, I would like to second that motion, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just checking to see whether there's any conditions. No, no conditions. Okay, I have a motion for approval from Mr. Saeed, seconded by Mr. Stinson. There are no conditions. All those in favor? That matter is carried unanimously. Thank you very much, sir. Your application has been approved.
Thank you so much.
Okay. We're moving on to item number 7, 12 Phillip Avenue. I have some people in the audience. Sir, are you the applicant?
I'm the applicant.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak in support or in opposition to this matter? You're on your own then. Okay.
Patrick McAuliffe, agent for the owner.
Thank you.
It's a pretty straightforward rebuild of a house. I don't know what else to say other than answer questions.
I believe you have made a change to this application.
Sorry? I don't think I have.
You deleted the driveway width variance?
Oh, yeah, to decrease the driveway size, yeah.
Okay. All right. That is the, you have deleted the requirement for a driveway width of 4.34 meters and are satisfied to meet the zoning bylaw. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And all the rest of the variances are to remain, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Community planning has requested that the owner to build substantially in accordance with the site plan in front of them. Are you in agreement with that?
I agree with it.
Okay. Committee members. Mr. Stinson?
Have we gone into committee?
Do you have any questions of the applicant?
I do not.
Mr. Saeed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have actually two questions from the applicant or owner. I would like to have your comments on transportation comments on variance number 4, which is about the energized outlet capability
Sorry.
there in the garage? And second is the height of the building.
So what was the first one, please?
My first question is, what's your comments, thoughts on the variance number 4? I mean, the transportation section comments are there. You must have looked into that. So what's your comments on that?
On, as far as the electric charge for the cars?
That's right.
That's just because it's just come in new, and I just keep forgetting to put it on the drawings, that's all. But I agree with it, that we will be putting it in. So that could be eliminated.
You agree on that
Yes,
variance
we can
number?
eliminate number
The
4.
comments, okay. And what about the height of the building, which is you are proposing 9.5 meter?
Yeah, that's what happens when you build these houses with the garage and the bedroom over, or the living room over and the bedroom over top of that. It tends to rise the height of the roof a bit.
Is the height 100% stands with this 9.5, or there are some part of the roof is 9.5 and remaining is 9, or is the 100%?
No, most of the roof is 9.5.
The 100%
The peak
is
9.5 for most of the
Okay.
roof, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I'm asking, my question is related to variance number 1 and variance number 2. How do you justify 34% increase in variance number 1 and 16% increase in variance number 2?
Correct, that's what we're asking for, that's what the owner would like to
Could you
have.
kindly speak into this mic,
Sorry.
please?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that is what the owner would like to have. If everybody is concerned about the size of this house, I can suggest downsizing.
You can propose it to what number?
Okay, so obviously it is a concern, so I'm going to make the following suggestions. Item number 1 can be reduced to, what was that, item number 1? Could be reduced to 0.74.
Okay, the maximum is 0.5, and you're revising it to 0.74 times the lot area?
Item number 2 can be reduced to 37%.
Sorry, Chair, can we just pause until it's on the screen? So we don't miss any of the reductions. So item 1, we're just keeping track on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, item number 3 can be eliminated.
Sorry, can you
Just a
repeat
sec,
item
we've
2?
dealt with item 1. Can you repeat item
Sorry,
number
item
2?
1.74.
Yes.
Item number 2, 37%.
Okay. Item number 3,
We discussed that, and that can be deleted.
thank you.
Item number 4, we're going to provide that, so that can be deleted.
So you're going to provide an energized outlet.
We will be providing that, yep.
It will be provided, so the
So therefore
variance
that
number 4 is not
Can be
required.
so therefore it can be deleted, yep. I'd like to keep item number 5, and I'd like to keep item number 6. And I'd like to keep item number 7 and number 8. And my comment about these,
Just a second, let me just slow you down here a bit. So item 4 has been
I'm sorry.
deleted. Item 5, you are keeping that same height of building of 9.5?
yeah, we'll leave it at 9.5. Item number 6 we'll leave as is. Item number 7, I'd like to reduce that to 18.28.
Okay, so number 7 is the building length is 18.28?
Correct.
Okay,
I forgot to do the calculations for number 8, so we can leave number 8 the way it is, because number 7 will affect it anyways.
item 8, the lot depth does not change.
Item number 9, sorry,
Okay, item 9,
delete.
delete number 9.
Correct. And item 10 will remain as is.
And 10 as is.
Sorry, through the chair, is 7 and 8 both changing?
7 will be 18.8.
Yeah.
And like I said, I forgot to do the calculations for number 8, but if that one stays the same as it is right now, it will obviously, number 7 will obviously overrule that.
Okay, so number 7, your building length is 18.8.
18.28.
18.28. And number 8, your building depth will change, but you're still going to need a variance for it.
I'd like to just leave number 8 because
So you'd like to keep, sorry?
just leave it number 8 the way it is because it
Okay,
will
we'll
be
leave number 8 the way
Right.
it is at 20.92. All right. On the
number 10.
overhead, Mr. McAuliffe, on the overhead, can you please confirm that we have captured all the changes?
Oh, sorry about this.
We'll give you a minute to read it.
Okay, number 1 says 7.74.
Yep,
Number 2 is 37%.
yep,
Number 3 deleted.
yep,
Number 4 deleted.
yep.
Number 5 remain as is.
Okay.
Number 6 remain as is.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, 18.28.
Okay.
Number 8, leave as is.
Okay.
Number 9, delete.
Yep.
And number 10, remain as is.
Okay. All right. No, number 10 is, does it remain as is? That is the roof eaves.
Through the chair, just to clarify, 9's deleted, 10 remains the same.
Right. Okay. Any questions of the committee members? Community planning has suggested that this be built substantially in accordance with these amendments. I don't believe that condition will follow. Can I get confirmation?
Through the chair, yes, the condition would no longer apply to the revised set of plans.
Okay, all right. So, for number 12, Phillip Avenue, we have an amended variance application. Do I have a motion for approval as amended? Yes, Mr. Reed?
Thanks, Chair. I think with these changes that the applicant has made, that this is a defensible application. I think it's in line with new development in this area, and I think that the variances being requested are relatively minor. I was concerned about the length and depth, but I think that being addressed has improved the application. So I would like to move approval of the application as amended, subject to the conditions of urban forestry.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Stinson?
Chair, I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion of her approval as amended from Mr. Reed, seconded by Mr. Stinson, subject to urban forestry conditions. All those in favor? All those opposed? That matter carries. We have 4 in favor, and Mr. Mr. Hahn is opposed. So all in favor, 1 opposed. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 8, 161 Magnolia Avenue. Item number 8. I have 2 speakers. One is the agent, the other is the owner. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to item number 8, 161 Magnolia Avenue? Seeing none? Okay. 161 Magnolia Avenue is a 1-story rear addition. There are a number of variances, and there is a comment that community planning, that the application be built in accordance with the site plan before us. Is the applicant online? Miss Pasha? She online?
You have been unmuted.
Okay, Ms. Pasha, do you wish to make a presentation, or are you in a position of just answering questions?
Hi, good afternoon.
Sorry, sir, I guess it's Mr. Pasha.
Mr. Pat, yeah. Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. So my owner, the owner, she's with me, so she wanna speak first.
Okay. Then we'll have the owner speak. Would you please identify who you are, sir or madam? I have a Munir.
I'm going to see if they're signed in, but I don't think.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you. You wish to speak on this application?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and the committee. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak. My name is Abida Munir, and I'm the owner of this property, 161 Magnolia Avenue. And we are living here since 2011. We have such a nice neighborhood. As our family is growing now, so due to current situations, we cannot afford to accommodate the other house or big house. My elder son is going to get married by the end of this year. So we need him to stay with us, connected with the family, and he wants to stay with us. So obviously he needs the privacy. So that's why we applied for the extension. So I would really appreciate if you guys grant us this extension, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the applicant, of the owner? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I'm going to ask variance number 3. Rear setback is my concern. 2.86 as against minimum requirement is 8.34. Would you kindly explain that it will cause effect on the neighbors as well?
So Mr. Pasha is gonna answer for these technical, I would like him to speak on behalf of me.
Hi, sir. So you said that so 7.32 meters into 4.26 meter proposed extension that could be proposed.
Yes, I believe the question is, can you, how do you justify that as an impact on the properties to the rear?
Oh, so this one we proposed like in the same height. It's and it's connected with the back side. So it's if you see the dimension is gonna be almost the same size, the one we proposed.
I don't believe that was the question. Do you want, I think the concern, sir, is that you are proposing an extension on one half of the semis, not on the other half. That's all right. But that extension goes into the rear yard and allows a rear yard of only 2.86 meters, whereas the normal rear yard would be 8.34 meters. So how do you justify that minimum rear yard and its impact on the adjacent lands to the rear?
So, ma'am, we applied for the zoning before, and they didn't approve it. So that's why we applied for the minor variance for this one.
All right, I'm sorry, I don't understand. You applied for a building permit and it wasn't approved, and that's why you have applied for a minor variance?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So
Because the owner, they don't want to reduce it. Yeah, the size.
okay. And we have a supplementary report on this matter.
Through the chair, just before you move on from item variance 3, for the record, staff are going to correct a typo on variance 3. It should say minimum permitted rear yard rather than maximum.
Yes.
So we're just going to make that correction for the decision.
Okay. In the supplementary report, community planning has suggested that if we approve this application, that be tied with the buildings in that we see, and that the window on the rear wall be eliminated. Okay. Do I have any comments? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was not clear on the answers given by Mr. Pasha. Pasha, I am again repeating the question that what is the existing rear yard setback? I mean, before this addition, what is the current rear yard setback?
Give me 1 second. I can check.
Staff, can you bring up the ground floor plan, proposed ground floor plan? I believe it has the property lines on it. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, can I take my architect on the line?
You're asking if we can have the architect on the line?
Yes. So she can explain the the dimension.
Through the chair, can we get the name of the architect to confirm they're a registered speaker?
Okay, Pasha, who is the architect? We have Manir.
Madiha. Yeah. Mediha.
Okay.
Madita is the architect? Madita Meza?
Yes.
Through the chair,
Madiha may not be able to attend.
Through the chair, Madiha is not signed in.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Madiha is not signed in.
Okay, sir, Madiha has not signed in.
Okay. Okay, so let me help you, if I can do it. So the proposed one is like, if you see here, 7.32 meters into 4.26 meters, the proposed extension.
Okay, sir. We have a suggestion here. We don't have the architect. you have not been able to explain the rear yard setback, and it's a substantial setback with an impact on adjacent properties. We're wondering whether you would like to defer this application to a time where the architect would be available to answer the question.
So she's coming online in 1 minute.
All right.
If you can give us a 1 more minute, she's coming online.
Through the chair, we still haven't gotten the architect on the line.
Sir, we still don't have anyone on the line. We've given some time to this. I think what we would prefer is to defer this application, give you some time to talk to the architect, to your client, and come back with the rationale for your rear yard setback. Alternatively, we could refuse this application. And I think probably it's in your best interest to ask for a deferral. We can't sit here for a long period of time waiting for all the applicants to phone in. What is your choice, sir?
Through the chair, just to clarify for the record, there's been no motion for refusal yet.
No. Sir, do you wish to defer or do you wish to proceed? But we'd have to proceed right now.
They keep muting themselves. Hold on. Marriage, you have been unmuted.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
The question is, how do you justify the variance for a rear yard setback of 2.86 meters, whereas the bylaw requires 8.34 meters?
In the bylaw. Actually, so if you don't mind, can you repeat the question again, please?
We're asking you for your justification for the variance for the rear yard setback.
Okay.
It's not sufficient to say that you want a bigger house. What we're looking at is your proposed development has an impact on adjacent properties. How do you justify that? And I will offer to you, again, the opportunity to ask for a deferral so that you can discuss it with your clients and with the architect.
Okay.
And come back to us at a later date. Do you wish to defer this
Sure, I
application?
will. So so we can do it on the same day?
No, a deferral would have to be, I don't know if we can't come back in the next February. It would have to be in March. we have to give the notice again.
Okay. Sure. So, yeah, this for the. So, my architect said she's connected already in the line.
Yes, we understand. We haven't heard from her. We haven't got this, the rationale.
Yeah, sure. We will. Okay.
I don't see her online. I'm not too sure how she signed in or what her name is, but she has not been signed in underneath her name that she registered under. So if Medea is online, she would have to have her name as Medea.
Okay, sir. I'm going to suggest that we defer this application. We'll defer it sine die. You don't have your architect online. I believe you and the architect and your owner need some time to communicate. You know what our question is. When you come back to us, you will be able to provide a rationale for the variances that you've requested. Is that
Okay, perfect.
Is that satisfactory?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. I move, or maybe I'll, Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, applicant, for explaining and trying to get your architect online, but I'm not satisfied that this matter should proceed either as a member of this committee until we do have the architect registered in proper and we're not rushing. So I'm going to put forth a motion that we defer this pending sine die until such time as that comes.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
I will second the motion.
Mr. Khan? Okay, moved by Mr. Stinson, seconded by Mr. Khan, that this application be deferred sine die.
All in favor.
All in favor? That matter is carried unanimously. Sir, your application has been deferred sine die. If you would get in touch with staff as to when that application will be rescheduled. Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on to item number 9. Item number 9 is 2301 Brimley Road, 2329 Brimley Road at Commander Boulevard, and 175 Commander. This is an application for approval to increase the permitted restaurant gross floor area. Is the applicant online?
Hi, yes, Mrs. Chair. My name is Fiona McGill, and I'm here with Victoria Planning.
Before you proceed, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to item number 9? Ah, good. Sir, would you come down to the podium, please? See the podium over here? Just take a seat, and after the applicant has made their presentation, we'll call upon you to speak, okay? All right. Ms. McGill, would you please proceed? Got the applicant online again?
Hi, Madam Chair. I'm here with Victoria Planning and Management. My name is Fiona McGill. I'm here representing the applicant for minor variance application regarding 2301 Brimley Road. I'd just like to note that we've worked with staff in putting together this application to ensure that they support it, and we've received no concerns or objections from city staff or agencies, which I believe is indicative of their support. We're just requesting the variance to allow for more flexibility in the use of existing space for restaurant uses, and that no new floor space is proposed as part of this application. I believe this is good planning and is minor in nature and meets the four tests under the Planning Act.
Okay, thank you. I understand that you're not suggesting any new construction, so there's no TRCA conditions and there's no forestry conditions, that all you are asking is to have a variance to allow you flexibility in rearranging the floor space within the existing buildings. To the gentleman who came down, it's now your opportunity to speak. Would you give us your name and address first, please?
Okay, Cletus Bentley, 8 Broomfield Drive.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first name.
Cletus, C-L-E-T-U-S, B-E-N-T-L-E-Y.
Thank you. And the address again?
8 Broomfield Drive.
8 Broomfield.
M1S2W1.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I would like to find out exactly where is 23, just a minute now. Oh my goodness. 2301 Brimley Road. That's the plaza, but which building are they talking about?
I'll answer that. They're asking for permission on the plaza itself. They haven't identified a building.
So are they going to build a new building? No.
We could ask the applicant of that. Do you have any other questions?
Which section of the plaza is this, are they talking about?
Okay. Do you have any other questions? As I understand, they're not proposing any new construction, but we can get confirmation of that from the applicant.
Correct. But I just would like to know the exact spot location of whatever they're talking about.
Okay. They have restaurants in that plaza. I'm not sure which buildings. And they're asking for permission to expand or change the restaurant locations.
Could we get a section of where the restaurant is exactly or something like that? It's like you go on an airplane and which seat do you pick? We need a location.
Okay, I understand the variance is not specific to any portion of the plaza, but I'll ask the applicant to answer your question a little bit better than what I can.
Thank you.
So, Ms. McGill, did you hear the question?
Hi, sorry. Thanks, Mr. Bentley, for your question. There's no imminent plans to add the restaurant space on the site. It's just to provide for flexibility in the future. So the restaurant area would apply to the entire site, and at this time, no particular space.
That's unsatisfactory for me.
Through the chair.
Okay. She's provided the answer that there is no specific space proposed. They are asking for permission to build a restaurant sometime in the future or change the location of the restaurants in the future. The only question they have for us is, can we increase the area of all restaurant uses on that property? And that's the variance before us. It's not specific to any one of those buildings, nor is it specific to deleting any restaurants. Okay. So that's all we have. That's our entire variance. I'm afraid we can't provide you any further information.
What kind of increment are they looking at? You know?
I'm sorry, that is not anything further that we can add.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we cannot provide any additional information. All we have in front of us and all that the applicant has said is that they would like to have the opportunity to increase the floor area of the restaurants on the property sometime in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. Okay. Committee, do I have any questions of the applicant? No? Committee, do I have a motion? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am of the opinion that the variance, there is only this variance before the committee is minor in nature and quite reasonable. Madam Chair, it's inappropriate. I therefore put forward motion for approval of item number 9, and there are no conditions to that.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Mr. Reed, moved by Mr. Said, seconded by Mr. Reed, approval of variance number 9. There are no conditions. All those in favor? That matter is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you to the applicant. We're moving on now to item number 10. I am just going to check the time. It's 12:30. Yeah. We have item number 10. Item number 11 was the deferral of the Regency Square. And item number 12 Item number 12 has no people other than the applicant. So item number 10, the only speakers are the applicant. Item 11, we have dealt with, and item number 12 is only the applicant. What is the wish of the committee? Would they like to take a break, or would you like to proceed to item 11 and 12 and then take a break?
Through the chair, I just want to jump in quickly. There's no registered speakers for any of the morning session, the rest of the morning session items. It's just the applicants.
Okay, so what's the wish of the committee? We're at item number 10. And in the morning session, we go up to item number 17. We have no speakers other than the applicant. So, committee, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 more items to deal with in the morning. I suggest that we'll deal with 3 of those and then take a break. Is that satisfactory to committee members? Okay. All right, let's see how fast we can deal with 3 of those and then have our break. So item number 10 is 356 Morrish Road. This is an application.
Afternoon, Madam Chair.
Just a second.
And, yep.
Just a second. This is an application to construct a 2-story dwelling. There are 10 variances. And thank you very much. I assume the applicant is online. So, sir, do you...
Yeah, yes, Madam Chair, good afternoon. My name is Sean Tusi. I'm the office principal at Nemar Architects, Inc., 2323 Yonge Street, Unit 503, Toronto, representing the owner today as the agent for this application of the new house.
Thank you. Do you have anything further that you wish to add? We have your application in front of us.
If everything looks straightforward, just for the sake of saving time, I wouldn't add unless there is a question.
Okay. Committee members, do you have any questions of the applicant? No? No? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could the applicant elaborate or let's know what's the triggering factor for the increased FSI.
Okay. So
This is variance number 10.
that's
Yes, I'll very quickly, through you, Madam Chair, I'm going to cover everything. So there are three categories of the variances. One is the FSI. It is noteworthy to say that we're not increasing the lot coverage. The lot coverage permitted is 40%, and we're 34.5. So we're 6% less than the permitted lot coverage. So that means this house really is not by any means covering so much of the lot. So the FSI is a natural conclusion of going from the older house to a new house. You end up having the house bigger, but the variances you have, like the setback, is not really as a result of that FSI. As I mentioned, the lot coverage is we're already less than the permitted bylaw. It is a result of being a corner lot, and what typically comes with the special condition of this lot, which is also sort of around on the edge if you look at the server site plan. So through you, Madam Chair, it is the increase on the FSI is a result of going from older house to a new house. But it's noteworthy to say that if there is a comparison table we have on our presentation sheet that shows by no means we are more than what has been approved in the neighborhood. We're under 60, we have 61, we have 60, we have 64% approved by the committee. So we will not by any means set the precedent for the new buildings. We're in fact less than like most of the other ones that have been receiving the neighborhood. And planning is in support of it, urban forestry is in support, neighbors are in support. Any other question I would be happy to answer.
okay. Thank you, sir. To staff, I don't have listed an urban forestry request. There is none? Okay, all right. So this the application with 10 variances and no conditions. Do I have any comments from the committee? Yes, Mr. No comments? No comments? A motion? Go ahead, Mr. Stan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Making a motion through you.
Thank you.
We have 10 variances in front of us, and they are minor in nature. So I make the motion that the application be approved. No conditions.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Chair, I will second the motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Han, seconded by Mr. Stinson for approval of this application. There are no conditions. All those in favor of the application? That the matter is carried. All members approved the application. Thank you, sir. We're now moving on.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. Have a great afternoon.
Okay, our next item is item 12, 12A and 12B, which is 50A ATLEE Avenue and 50B ATLEE Avenue. Is the applicant online?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this item? Oh, okay.
Yeah, my name is Moinul Islam. I'm the agent. We came here with one variance only, and the variance is actually previous decision was on the north side yard. It was 0.5 now, and the south side yard was south side yard was 0.5. Now we came here with 0.41, and this was happened actually in the beginning of the construction. We had to move a bit from the neighbor side because of there was some difficulties on the construction of them. So we have to prioritize the safety and compliance in the immediate concern. and the adjustment was the major response on that some circumstances. Rest on you.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
So as I understand it, that this variance is required because it's already constructed. You were felt it was in your best interest to construct it because of some safety concerns, and you're now asking us to give approval of the variance as constructed for both properties, 50A and 50B. Do I have any questions from the committee? No. Do I have any motions from the committee? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the applicant mentioned, this is an existing condition, and we have some discussion over that in our previous meeting. So if it is a safety matter and it's improving this safety matter, I don't see there is any issue on that. So, Madam Chair, I put forward motion for both item 12A and 12B. It's a combined motion, and this is the approval of this application, and there are no conditions to that.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Hahn.
I will second the motion.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Mohammed. No, moved by Mr. Said, seconded by Mr. Hahn. It's time for my lunch. All those in favor? Thank you. That matter passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and all the committee.
Thank you. All right, as we just decided, we are going to deal with item number 13, and then I have an opportunity for a cup of coffee. So, item 13 is 1 Trefoil Court. It's a 1-story rear yard sunroom, and there are 5 variances. Is there anyone in the audience? Nope. Thank you. Okay, is the applicant online?
Jordan, you have been unmuted.
Okay. Hi. Sorry. My name is Jordan DeYoung Shillings. I'm here on behalf of our client, and I am speaking to you from Four Seasons Sunrooms and Additions at 1 Trefoil Court. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of committee. We got through that little technical difficulty pretty quickly. That was good.
Okay. Do you have anything you wish to say? I see that there is conditions from the Ravine and Natural Feature Protection.
Through the chair, there's no conditions?
Pardon?
There's no conditions?
Item 13, I guess we've got a report, the Ravine and Natural Feature Protection.
And the report indicates there's no conditions.
Okay, thank you. All right, there are no conditions to this application. It's for a 1-story rear yard sunroom. Do I have any questions? I think we all would like this cup of coffee that I'm looking forward to. Mr. Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a concern about the variance number 3, which is the rear yard setback, if the applicant elaborate on that.
Okay. Number 3?
Yes, absolutely. Minimum rear yard to reduce down to 3.9. We were believing that there is ample side yard. There is ample side yard space for the client and for the neighbor. The rear neighbor would have a closer view of the sunroom, but I believe that they are there isn't any objection by the rear yard neighbor, and and our client is just looking for a little bit more space, as they've got, I believe they have 2 kids and they have a 3rd one on the way. So just more internal space for themselves.
Okay. I think one of the other plans actually shows it better, that it's a glassed-in, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a sunroom, but it's a very small, can we see that as it fits into the rear yard? I think one of the previous ones is better. Okay. Yeah, it's only a portion of the building that is in, and the rest of the rear yard is still there, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Stinson.
I just want to follow up with Member Saeed's point, and that is I too was looking at the rear yard setback, but one of the things that helped me reconcile for myself was, correct me if I'm wrong, as the agent, this is a very irregular lot for this address at 1 Trefoil, and it's quite large.
Yes, it is, and it is an odd-shaped lot as well.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation, because I was just looking at it on Google Earth here, and just based on what I'm seeing and based on the planning department, no objections. I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Keeping in view the elaboration by the applicant about the lot size and lot shape, also there is no issue to the neighbors adjacent property. Therefore, I put forward motion for approval of item 13, and there are no conditions to that.
Okay. Do I have a seconder?
And Chair, I'll second that.
Thank you. Okay. Motion for approval from Mr. Said, seconded by Mr. Stinson. All those in favor? That matter is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, so that application is approved. I believe we're now going to take a break.
Madam Chair, can I propose if we can take the other 3 items, because there are no registered speakers to that, then we can finish the morning session by that, It's just a proposal to everybody, if we can take that.
Okay. What's the wish of the committee? We're going to power through?
I can press on. I can go.
Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so item number 14 is 34 Hunt Club. This is to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling, and there are 2 variances for this. Number 34 Hunt Club Drive. Anyone in the audience? No? Okay. Is the applicant online?
Ali, please do not press any buttons. I will unmute you.
Sorry, is that the applicant?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything further that you wish to add to this? I'm sorry. Told you I needed my coffee. Thank you very much, members. Okay, this is number 1434 Hunt Club Drive. To the applicant, would you please give your name and address?
It's Ali Shakiri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East.
Okay, we have 2 variances. Do you wish to comment any further on these?
No comment from my side. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Do I have any questions from committee members? Yes, Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just slightly confused by this. There are no plans or elevations with the application. And I understand that the application was or the property was before the committee late last year. So to the applicant, could you clarify what's changed and what we're actually looking at, please?
Yes, first of all, there must be drawings. I think I can see the drawings online. And there is absolutely no change. The reason we are here before the committee is that there were missing variances that are now identified, and we're asking for those missing variances, but absolutely no change on the design and the drawings that were before the committee a few months ago.
Okay.
Yes, you can see the drawings on the screen now.
Yep. I read this and I gathered that when this application was before the committee previously, that 2 variances were missed. I don't know whether you did this by a zoning waiver or whether there was any changes, but you're not going to get a building permit until all the variances have been identified and approved for your building. I assume that's basically why we've got this in front of us again. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Only one missing variance for the lot coverage and the calculation of the FSA. We had the variance for the floor area. However, the calculation that was done by the zoning examiner was different. So we have to ask for the same variance with a different figure. Otherwise, everything else is the same.
Okay.
No change on the design whatsoever.
Okay.
And I've submitted some support documents as well, just if you're interested to look.
All right. I don't see any conditions. Double check this. Urban forestry conditions. Okay. Do I have a motion? Mr. Reed.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks to the applicant for clarifying that. I think this is seeing the drawings now, this makes sense, and I understand this is more of almost a technical variances being requested. I think they're minor, and I put forward a motion of approval subject to urban forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Hahn.
I will second the motion.
Okay. I have a motion for approval from Mr. Reed, and it was seconded by Mr. Hahn. The conditions of urban forestry. All those in favor? Those in favor, that application is approved. Thank you very much.
For the record, through the chair,
Thank you.
can you confirm if it was unanimous?
Oh, sorry, it was unanimous. Sorry, I realized.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That not everyone can see us as we put our hands up. Okay, item number 15. It's 90 Inniswood Drive. The application is to construct a second floor addition with a front porch and a rear deck. And there are a number of variances, essentially dealing with the front yard and rear yard setback. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to item number 1590 Inniswood Drive? Seeing none. Is the applicant online?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Do you wish to make a presentation, sir, or do you wish to answer any questions?
Sure. For the sake of time, I don't mind deferring the presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. My name's Sean Pate, by the way. I'm the owner of 90 Inniswood Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. Okay. Committee, any questions of the applicant? Yes?
Thank you, Chair. I'll just make a comment. Unless I'm missing something, the variations being asked for, the variances, pardon me, they're very minor in nature. There's nothing that sticks out to my mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stinson. Any other comments? Do I have a motion? Mr. Hahn?
Thank you, madam. Thank you for the motion. We have 4 variances in front of us, and there is no staff recommendation for this. So I find it minor, and therefore move the motion to be approved.
Thank you.
Chair, I'll second the motion.
Okay, moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Mr. Stinson. All those in favor? That matter carries unanimously. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We move on to item number 16, which is 82 AINSDALE. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, the application for 82 AINSDALE Road is to construct a new 2-story dwelling. It has 4 variances, including coverage, height, and building length. Are you the applicant, sir?
I'm the agent.
You are the agent?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Aksen Ahmed Siddiqui from 96 Birkdale Road, Scarborough, Ontario. I believe there are 5 variances.
Yes.
So it's pretty straightforward. It's just, I believe it's all minor changes. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Have you seen the conditions of urban forestry?
I have.
Okay.
Is that something that I need to take care of, or because I really don't know why it is there? I actually did submit a drawing. There is no tree on the property itself, and they do have some small trees around the property, but they're like really, really small. So I did submit a drawing showing the size of the trees and stuff, and the perimeter, the roots do not encroach into my property. But if I need to take it up with urban forestry, I will.
Through the chair, the conditions stating that where there is no tree, it's payment in lieu.
Yeah, the payment of $800 something.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll make that payment.
Okay, you are in agreement with the condition, even though there's no trees, because it's a monetary
Yes.
contribution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant? Mr. Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the questions, actually, it's my concern about the wall height, the exterior wall height, and also the building height. Again, even if it is not that much, I'm looking at the character of the street, and in the street I can hardly find there is one more 2-story building there. Most of them are bungalows and 1-story. You are bringing a 2nd story there, which is okay, but exceeding the bylaws standards, whatever is permitted, and giving it as a box-shaped building coming up in that area, which is not fitting into that, not blending with the character of the street. So although there is no observations, nothing from the neighbors, but I would like to have your comments on that, how you justify that kind of design there.
Thank you very much for your comment. So the way it's happening in that neighborhood is that slowly everyone else is trying to mitigate this 2-story structure because of the changing demographics and the changes in the family sizes in that area. In order to accommodate the maximum amount of square feet that we can in that specific anywhere in Scarborough. The height, it's just 0.4 meters more than what's allowed. But what that would let me do is that would let me add another floor on top of the garage, which can be used as a as a formal living, which kind of makes me not want to build the house too big, but this vertical extension will allow me to, sorry, this vertical extension will allow me to house everything within that small footprint, as you may say.
That's fine. I understand the requirements, the family size, the new trends, the new design, everything is there. But the problem over here is that I don't want to set a precedent in that area. Tomorrow, if somebody else is, of course, there will be new buildings coming up. And they should not be quoting that 9.5 is allowed or 9.4 is allowed, right? Everybody come up with these kind of justifications, the family size and more family members have to live, unless you really have some design issues, architectural issues there.
Yes, that is, so I do have a design issue if you take a look at my section on my drawing. So in order to house the maximum number of floors, so the front part, I have the garage, and then I do have the basement, and then I have the garage on top. Then I have to house another living room on top. On top of that, I have the the second floor. In order to house all this, I need that height.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Stinson?
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Member Saeed's points are well made. I will note that there are some other buildings on the street, but if I'm wrong, please correct me, that are 2 stories.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I think that's 78 INNSDALE is 2 stories. And it's almost of the same nature.
And that is the only one in that street, or there are more?
There are more, but that's farther down the road.
This is the closest one.
This is the closest one.
And it height doesn't look like, I don't think it will be 9, but your one is going to be the highest in the area.
Yeah, by 0.4 meters.
I'm just taking a look at this, and the reason that you needed the additional height is because you want to build over top of the garage, is that correct?
Exactly, exactly.
And you're looking for a full basement.
Yes.
And so you need the height of the basement so that you can have the sunlight into the basement.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. All right, I think I understand what you're asking for.
A13. Yes, go ahead, please.
Any comments from? Any comments? No. Do I have a motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have 5 variances in front of us and no staff recommendations. Transport Service has no objection, so I find it minor variances. Therefore, I move this application be approved with forestry conditions.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Mr. Reed?
I'll second.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Han, seconded by Mr. Reed, that the application be approved, subject to forestry conditions. All those in favor? That matter carries unanimously. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your
Application
time.
has been approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 17, 131 Dorset. Just comment, we're in the same section of the city, which is the older part of the city, and so we're getting similar applications. This application at 131 Dorset Road is to demolish the existing building and to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling. The building has 4 variances: gross floor area, building length, and setback, and exterior stairs. Okay.
Okay,
Item 17.
Hello?
Okay, is there anyone in the audience, before we go to the applicant, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this item? No? Okay. Is the applicant online?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Do you wish to make a presentation?
Hi. Yeah, sure, I would. So, first of all, good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Priyal Kapadia, and I'm going to represent the application on behalf of the owner of 131 Dorset. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to present today. We are seeking the approval for 4 variances related to our construction project. And we here ask for support from the neighbors community as well, because we believe that all the variances are very reasonable and minor in nature. And just bringing to notice that we don't have any urban forestry requirements or any department's condition for our design. And also, we do respect there was a concern raised against the FSI variance by Cliffcrest Scarborough Village SW Residents Association, and we would like to present some additional justification for that variance particularly. So here I want to tell the committee members that there's a very crucial point here, which is the owner's family dynamics. So the owner of this property has 2 sons, and one of them is already married and expecting a baby, and another son is also planning to get married, and they all intend to live together in a single family home where they require a minimum of 4 bedrooms and family spaces. So we feel that this variance, despite of the larger size, I think is minor in nature. And we've also seen few nearby projects which has new developments recently in past 5 to 10 years, and they have similar lot sizes and building coverage, and they have been approved for this variance, which goes beyond the allowed limit. So I just wanted to say that all these requested variants are very reasonable and minor in nature. And if we get the approval, we would allow us to create a space that is both functional and harmonious, and most importantly, would cater the owner's functional needs. Thank you for your consideration, and we are happy to address any questions or concerns you may have.
Congratulations on the new baby. Thank you, Chair. As it arrives, and I'm looking over all the paperwork and I'm seeing no conditions or concerns.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a reconfirmation from the applicant. As you stated, there are no conditions, and I also see on my documents there are no conditions to that. Just a reconfirmation that the building, the dwelling, have a big tree in the front yard. Hope that is safe. Just a reconfirmation from you. Thanks.
Yeah, that is.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a beautiful tree, and I don't want that to be injured or removed. But thank you, Madam Chair. I believe the variances, other than that, I believe these are minor in nature, and I am supportive to that.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Said.
Madam Chair, I was just saying that the variances before the committee, all the 4 variances, they are minor in nature, and I'm supportive to that. If the committee members don't have any comments, I can move a motion on that.
Okay. Staff have asked me to clarify my statements that we do have 1 letter of objection from the Cliffcrest Community Association. I believe the applicant also acknowledged that. And their concern was that the flora area was becoming bigger than what is permitted. So I have a motion from Mr. Said for approval, subject to...
There are no conditions to that, Madam Chair.
Okay. Do I have a seconder?
Chair, I'll second the motion.
seconded by Mr. Stinson. All those in favor? That application is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. So thank you, everyone. I desperately need a cup of coffee. So we will take a half-hour break. Is that sufficient, or do we need 45 minutes? Maybe we can come back at 2 o'clock. That would give us 45 minutes. And we will have to vacate the premises. They kick us out. And everyone get your cup of coffee, and I'll see you back at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much. Yeah.